Welcome to the world of forgotten Battle Royale games. A world where the servers are empty, the queues are non-existent, and the only thing left is the ghost of the past. But wait, before we delve into the forgotten world of Battle Royale, let's take a step back and talk about the explosion in popularity of the genre. But first, are you subscribed? No? Everyone watching this video isn't subscribed, so please sub to the channel so I can feed my 50 children. It all started with a little game called PUBG. PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds was released in 2017 and quickly became a sensation. It was a new concept, a survival game where the last man standing wins. The game's popularity skyrocketed, and soon other games started following suit. The release of PUBG marked a turning point in the gaming industry, specifically for the Battle Royale genre. PUBG's unique gameplay mechanics and the rush of adrenaline that came with being the last survivor in a battle royale setting grabbed audiences, aggressively may I say. The game's success can be attributed to a few key factors. Firstly, the game was unique. The idea of parachuting onto an island and fighting to be the last man standing was a fresh take on the survival game genre. Secondly, the game was accessible. It was available on PC and consoles, making it accessible to a wide audience. Additionally, the game's relatively low price point made it affordable for gamers who were looking for a new experience without breaking the bank. Thirdly, the game was streamable. Streamers on platforms like Twitch and YouTube quickly picked up on PUBG's appeal and started streaming the game to their followers. This helped spread the word about the game and contributed to its success. Fortnite, Apex Legends and Warzone all entered the Battle Royale ring, and the genre was at its peak, so more games followed. But do you remember Realm Royale or Darwin's Project or Islands of Nine? Or when Counter-Strike tried to hop on the wave with CS:GO Danger Zone? Now the question is, why did some Battle Royale games become popular, while others faded into obscurity? That's what we want to figure out by the end of this video. So, have you heard of Darwin Project? No, not the one with the evolution theory and the Galapagos Islands. I'm talking about the Battle Royale game that flopped so hard, it's like me trying to talk to girls. A complete disaster. But in all seriousness, Darwin Project was a Battle Royale game released in early access on 2018, then fully released on January 14th, 2020. And in May of the same year, news broke out that the game would be dead by 2021. But how could a game flop so horribly? On March 9th, 2018, Darwin Project was released to the public in an early access version. The version we have now, which is still available, and this first iteration are completely different from one another. But the objectives remain the same, be the only one remaining. The methods in which you achieve this are similar to other Battle Royale games. Outlast the other players or kill them. I mean, I get it, the game had some cool features. You had to rely on a melee weapon, the axe, to do most of your damage. It's like going back to the caveman days, but with fancier graphics. And instead of shrinking circles, the map was made up of 7 hexagons, with some of them going nuclear and pushing you out. It's like a post-apocalyptic game of Settlers of Catan. But the real kicker was the survival aspect. Your temperature would drop, and you had to find ways to keep warm, just like in real life. And gathering items to craft better armor and weapons. It's like the game was telling you to be resourceful, and not just rely on picking up whatever you find on the ground like a lazy bum. With all these unique features, how could a game like Darwin Project fail? The game made a huge mistake. It took away the customizable builds and replaced them with only 3 item powers. It's like going from a buffet to a vending machine. Sure, you can still get some good stuff, but it's not as satisfying as being able to customize your own plate. And that, my friends, is why Darwin Project died a slow and painful death. It's like the game developers took a sledgehammer to their own creation, but hey, it's free, so you can still give it a try.
Yeah, she went to children. Oh, DD, oh, what it is? Oh, DD, what it is?
Realm Royale was released in 2017 as a free-to-play Battle Royale game with a fantasy twist. Developed by Heroic Leap Games and published by Hi-Rez Studios, the game featured colorful graphics, unique weapons, and abilities that set it apart from other games in the genre. Players could choose from 4 classes of hero, each with their own strengths and weaknesses, and drop into one of several biomes on a map. The transformation of downed players into chickens was the game's most unique feature. This added a new aspect to gameplay, as players had to either flee or peck their enemies in chicken form or risk being eliminated altogether. The game was well received upon its release, with positive reviews and a dedicated fan base. However, as time went on, Realm Royale began to fall out of favor with players. The game suffered from several game-breaking glitches that were not addressed, and the lack of new content caused many players to lose interest. The official Twitter account for Realm Royale has not tweeted since October 2020, and the game has not received a major update in over a year. Many fans of the game have expressed their disappointment and frustration with the lack of attention being paid to Realm Royale. They have tagged high-res staff on social media, asking for answers and updates, and have taken to forums to discuss the game's future. Many players believe that the game is dead or dying, with no hope for a revival. Some have speculated that the reason for the lack of attention on Realm Royale is due to the success of Hi-Res's other free-to-play game, Rogue Company. Released in October 2020, just a few months after the full release of Realm Royale, Rogue Company was well received by players on all platforms. The game features 4v4 and 2v2 game modes, an economy system similar to Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and playable characters with different skill sets. While the games share few similarities, many players believe that Hi-Res has shifted its focus to Rogue Company, leaving Realm Royale behind. Despite this, the game is still live and the servers are up. A small team of developers keeps the game running, and players can still enjoy the unique gameplay and features that made the game so popular in the first place. While it may not be receiving updates or new content, Realm Royale still has a dedicated fanbase that continues to play and support the game. As one player stated, if the servers are still up, there's some sort of potential because there has to be some sort of return.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
H1Z1 was a game that had so much potential. When it first arrived on the scene, it was a breath of fresh air. The concept of a battle royale game was new and exciting, and people were eager to try it out. The early access model gave players a chance to get in on the ground floor and see the game as it was being developed, and it was good. The gameplay was smooth, the graphics were impressive, and the game had a unique feel to it that set it apart from other battle royale games. But then, disaster struck. The developers released an update that changed the movement and controls of the game, and not in a good way. Players were furious. They had spent so much time getting used to the way the game played, and now it was completely different. The criticism was real, and the developers didn't seem to be listening. And then, PUBG and Fortnite arrived on the scene. PUBG took the world by storm, becoming one of the most popular games on Steam. And then Fortnite came along and completely changed the game, pun intended. With its unique building mechanics and a massive selection of skins, Fortnite quickly became the king of the Battle Royale genre, and H1Z1 was left in the dust. To make matters worse, the developers decided to make the game free-to-play in 2018. This move was not well received by the remaining player base. People who had paid for the game years ago now saw new players getting it for free. It was a slap in the face to those who had supported the game from the beginning. Now, H1Z1 is a shadow of its former self. The player base is small, and the game is often forgotten in discussions about Battle Royale games. It's almost like it never existed. It's a shame, really, because H1Z1 had so much potential, but in the end, it just couldn't keep up with the competition.
Oh, no, no. No.
Spellbreak is a magic-focused battle royale game developed by American-based game developer Proletariat Inc. It was launched globally in September 2020 and was positively received for being a refreshing addition to the battle royale genre. However, despite its early success, Spellbreak failed due to a variety of reasons, including lagging, a low volume of players in matches, slow content releases, and stagnancy across the gameplay experience. The game failed to keep up with the demands of its players, and the developers didn't focus on introducing new game modes or battle passes with intricate costumes to keep players engaged. In addition, the battle royale genre was becoming an increasingly crowded space, and many new battle royale games kept being released, making it challenging for Spellbreak to compete. The game also suffered from a small player count cap and a generic map lacking unique locations and points of interest that quickly become hotspots for players. Additionally, Spellbreak's failure to listen to the feedback and desires of its community of players, known as breakers, was instrumental for its demise. Many players expressed their desire for new game modes, battle passes, and other forms of content, but the developers failed to deliver on these requests. In contrast, other successful battle royale games like Fortnite and Apex Legends have consistently provided new updates, events, and content to keep their player bases engaged and excited about the game. Ultimately, Spellbreak's lack of consistent updates and failure to listen to its community of players resulted in its downfall. As the gaming industry continues to evolve and become increasingly competitive, it is essential for developers to prioritize player engagement and consistently provide new content to keep their games relevant and exciting. The world of Battle Royale games is a constantly evolving one, with new games being developed and released all the time. While some games have gone on to achieve massive massive success and have become household names, others have been forgotten, fading into obscurity as newer games took their place. One of the forgotten Battle Royale games we talked about today was Darwin's Project, which had an interesting take on the genre with its focus on survival skills and environmental hazards. Despite some positive reviews, the game failed to gain a large player base and ultimately shut down its servers. Another forgotten game we discussed was Realm Royale, which had some unique gameplay mechanics like the ability to craft items and summon mounts. Despite a decent start, the game failed to keep up with its competitors and eventually lost a significant portion of its player base. Z1 Battle Royale, formerly known as H1Z1, was one of the earliest Battle Royale games to gain popularity. However, the game's developers made some controversial changes to the game's mechanics, which led to a decline in its player base and eventually its shutdown. When it comes to why some Battle Royale games become popular while others fade into obscurity, there are several factors at play. One of the biggest factors is timing. Games that come out early and establish themselves as the standard bearers of the genre tend to have a significant advantage over games that come out later. This is precisely what happened with PUBG, which established itself as the definitive Battle Royale game when the genre was still new and fresh. Another factor that plays a crucial role is the quality of the game. Games that are well designed, polished, and offer unique gameplay experiences tend to have a better chance of standing out from the crowd and gaining a loyal fan base. However, this is easier said than done, as developing a high-quality game requires significant resources, time, and effort. Marketing also plays a significant role in a game's success. Games that are well-marketed tend to have a larger player base, as they're more likely to catch the attention of potential players. This is something that Fortnite did incredibly well, with its viral marketing campaigns, celebrity endorsements, and constant updates. Community engagement is another crucial factor in a game's success. Games that have active, engaged communities tend to have a longer lifespan and a dedicated fan base. Games like Apex Legends have succeeded in this regard, thanks to their constant updates, community events, and engagement with their player base.